Hello, and today we'll be playing Heroes Advent. We're going to start a new day, day 13, and we'll start that new day with Alex. When you open your eyes, you find yourself in the void once more, suspended in nothingness, deprived of all senses. You brace yourself for another vision to take hold of you, but nothing happens. You waited a little longer until something finally comes into being, but nothing does. Not the night mirrors, castle corridors, not the oppressive, suffocating throne room, or any of the landscapes you had visited prior. All you could hear was the familiar hum of the archive. Without anything happening, you tried to drop down to the ground. As your feet touched the ground like ripples in a lake, a pool of white formed around you as if illuminated by a spotlight. You looked up to find the source, only to see a blinding strip of rainbow glimmering like Christmas lights floating in the air. You reached out to the lights as they wavered. The front of your hand reached out towards them. Pulling away seemed to make them return to their original positions. The end is near. The end is near the end. Never the end. Hello? Who's there? Ow. Your head felt extremely dizzy, as if you heard something mixed in with the crystal hum, only that you could not make out any of the words. Be not afraid. Corruption. Nothing matters. In the end. You heard it again, or maybe you didn't. Maybe the void was playing a trick on you. What? I don't understand. You decided to answer nonetheless. You still can't quite make out what you hear, but it sounded like a question. My name? You need my name? By fate unavail. Dave. My name is Dave. Well met, Dave. I am Dave. You're me, as in, like, the other me? The other self. I have heard of such a thing, but no, I am not you. I am Dave. I am an echo of your name and your voice, such that we may communicate in earnest. Who are you? Another one of the king's servants? I am a servant to none. I am Dave, and Dave is a part of the self, the guardian of this forest, the place you call home, and what you call world. The guardian? He stared out into the void, shooting a look of disbelief in no particular direction. Is that not what you call those that watch over others in protection? I guess. Hearing your own voice speaking critically back to you only made things more confusing to process. Well, whatever you are, why are you here? Why are you here, then, Dave? He moved to give a snarky retort, but the question itself rang with uncertainty. To solve the problem of the corruption? And why? Protect the city? For what purpose? For the safety of her people. At what gain? None, I guess. Is this truly what you believe in? I, I guess I'll admit that there are still some lingering doubts. I know I'm not as strong as I'd like to be to even think of facing off the king's lackeys, let alone himself. but I owe a debt to Elisa, to Alex, and everybody that have helped me so far. I need to see this through to the end no matter what. Yours is a fate condemned to an unending pursuit of temptations. I guess, what does that mean for me? The self is a paradoxical being, forever changing, yet insistent it remains the same. Purging the self to make room for the self. Purging? Purging what? Many uncertainties remain. Yet already little can be done to alter any outcome. In spite of limitless potentiality, you're not making any sense talking in riddles like that. Yet you understand the implications. My curiosity remains sated. You sat here from I again, lest the time is right, at a different crossroad. Fare thee well, Dave. What? Wait! At that moment, the ring you were standing on seemed to flicker before phasing out of existence entirely. Once again, you were falling, seemingly towards a bottomless pit. Your eyes snapped open, quickly realizing it had all been a dream much more different than the ones that had played you before. What did the voice mean when it said purging? You shook your head wearily, setting aside the ominous warning as your mind slowly returned to reality. It was already morning by the time you woke up, leaving you rather unsure about when it was in the night that you had fallen asleep. You sat up in your headrow, shaking off the remnants of the dream you had, despite which you still had restful sleep. You caught sight of the lynx's tail twisting and lashing just outside the tent, already toiling away at the machine cluster you had set up. Even outside the lab, you were pulling all-nighters, only this time you were the one that passed out first. Stepping out of the tent, you caught a glimpse of the graphs on the monitor. They didn't look that much different to the ones you'd taken yesterday, but Alex's comparatively focused scrutiny told you it was far more interesting than that. You caught his attention when he noticed you letting out a long yawn while stretched. Oh, you're finally up. Morning. Did I oversleep? Perhaps a bit later than I would have predicted, but not so much to be of consequence. He handed you a cup of coffee, which you tentatively take a sip of. Thankfully, it turned out more bitter than sweet. You did sleep quite soundly. Almost reminds me of Fessin in a way. Oh, you both snore. And I'm seeing my mouth. Sorry, Alex. Good grief. How can something so cute make so much noise? Do you mean Fessin or... Yes. So, anything new about the archive while we slept? Alice's features turned dark, seemingly hesitating. What do you think about these readings, Dave? Me? I don't really know, Alex. It's all Greek to me. Greek? Whatever. I believe I got the memo. Just take a stab at the dark, will you? They look pretty similar to the ones from yesterday, except it's almost like it's adapting to something. Alex perked up at that last part. Precisely so. The archive's resident seems to be adapting to. The lynx's eyes trailed off again as he went quiet, lost in his own thoughts again. Alex, what is it? I can't say just yet. I still have a few more things to finalize. I'll share the results with everyone over breakfast. Alright? Anything I can help with? Yes, you can start packing up our equipment, starting with the survey markers. Are you done with them? Yes, I have all the data sets I need for our purposes. Just need to double check and make sure I'm not making any mistakes. Do you want me to help you here instead? Huh? No. No, I can handle the rest from here. Just start picking up all the equipment and putting it back into the car. We shouldn't leave this place a mess. Right. You begin making your way to the markers you had placed yesterday, casting one last glance at the links fervently, going over his notes. Whatever it was that he figured out, it didn't make you feel too confident. You pushed the thought aside, however, as Alex knew more about this than you did. It was for the best to leave it to him. After a moment, you set about your task as diligently as ever, confident that a possible solution must be close at hand for the links to uncover. By the time you finished, Alex was still poring over his notes, a furrow not leaving his brow. Hey, Alex, are you sure you're right? Oh, are you done? Ah, yes, everything's put away. I'm just about finished putting the last of my equipment away, too. He motioned to the machines sitting silently, powered down. I'll get Max to put the heavier stuff away. Let's go see if breakfast is served, shall we? I say we deserve it. Yeah, I'm a bit hungry already. Approaching the fire pit, you found Max and Cody already awake and discussing what sounded like the day's plan. Max was the first to spot you, waving you and Alex over. Good morning, you two. You're up awfully late. Did you make sure to get enough sleep? Don't worry, Max. We got plenty of sleep. Yeah, it's an appropriate 6 hours, mind you. That's hardly any at all. Perhaps, though, I wouldn't have been able to get much sleep anyway, not with Dave keeping me up all night. What? Hmm? Not like that. Dave snored a lot. It kept me up all night. But hey, don't just blurt it out like that. To be fair, I could hear you snoring from my tent, Dave. Maybe you should eat a heartier dinner so you'll be too full to snore. Well, if it's food you need, I'll be happy to provide. How about some coffee for us? I'm running low on sugar. You sure you don't just want sugar water? I'm not a powder mouth. I prefer coffee. Alright, let's get some coffee and then some food in all of you. If everything settled down, Alex brought up the readings for everyone to see. So, from our analysis, Akai maintains a constant maze frequency that projects the aether seal around the force. These are consistent with the frequencies used in the original blueprints. He brought up a copy of schematics that you could loosely identify as the guardian crystal. All the notes attached to it makes no sense to you, however. A stabilized frequency that repels anything that cannot harmonize with it by causing a significant amount of dissonance. That's why it can repel nether beasts that are lousy with corruption, but not the netherite does that are independently too small to get caught in a net. That's one way of putting it. It could be that nether has some particular behaviors that don't repel them in microscopic amounts, but we can't theorize that now. However, there was something I noticed the longer we logged the readings. This is what you asked me about, right? That's right. While the overall resonance is the same as a GC, the way the fluctuations work isn't the same at all. Alex pulled up 2 additional charts, one the ones you had taken at the camp, and another side by side. These are our readings, and these are the logs from the lab monitoring the GC. They're identical as far as I can tell. Looks like it, but something doesn't feel right about it. Correct, it's because the fluctuations aren't uniform. The graph tilted, displaying several more lines, each with a different color. Each one of the nodes returns its own maze signature, with the main white line representing the strongest maze signature. All living beings have mazes, and our strongest mazes are our elemental resonance. Right, the basics of elemental control. Yes, and look at all the GC's wavelengths compared to the Akai's. The frequencies seem to dip sometimes, unlike the GC's. Right, wavelengths fluctuating a lot too. Indeed, the elemental nodes detected unusual dips in resonance while the median frequency somehow maintains stability. What does that mean for the GC? It feels almost asinine to say, but the tree is a living thing. Yeah, generally, plants are a living thing. If this one has crystals growing out of it, one would think is one would think is obvious, but there was one other anomaly I hadn't expected to see. Another one? Does it explain the first one? Yeah, well, you are right. It explains it and has been the final puzzle piece. Closer diagrams he brought up two others. This time a graph with wildly fluctuating smaller graphs in between a series of values assigned to acronyms you hadn't learned yet. These are readings taken from the nether slug that invaded during the festival. Linus, one and the same. They have their own made signatures like any other element and have similar effects to other elements of the body save for its parasitic nature. And that is the last piece of the puzzle. The reason the guardian crystal has faltered is due to its synthetic nature. Because it's man-made? Yes, the reason the Akai has stood strong is due to it being a living thing. Alice brought up the Akai's readings was more overlain with a nether graph. To one side was an anatomical biometric. In small amounts, the body can reject nether infections. You'll feel sick for a time, but eventually restore your mage's stability naturally. When infected with enough corruption to stabilize your maze is when the nether takes hold, as it turns your resonance against you, only stabilized with a GC. The fluctuations in the elemental resonance was a tree fighting off nether corruption. Patterns in the elemental resonance are consistent with those in nether corruption and the examination of nether purification we've documented before. Wait, someone tried to poison the Akai? The serpent. Yes, whoever poisoned the GC likely attempted to poison the Akai as well. What of that beast? Possibly brought in like the slug and fed off the nether dust and the local wildlife. I can't say for sure, but that's my theory up until now. Though it is because the Akai compares itself of the nether that its field will remain stable, no doubt about that. So the GC was corroded over time, like you said before? Yes, from what was reported to the lab through Lady Spring, the GC was weakened due to the corrosive essence of the nether dust. With only a uniform pattern to repel external corruption, it had no way to expose the corruption it had collected, leading it to reach the stabilization ratio I just mentioned. Then, if that's the case, what can we do to restore harmony to the city? The Malamute grew anxious, seeming almost ready to say the answers out of Alex if needs be. Well, that's where our potential solution comes in. It's for the good of everyone that we consider every possible avenue. Al, I know what that tone means. Alex shook his head, dismissing what the dragon said. Because Alex looked to you, guiding the others to follow suit. Dave, we'll need you to... Alex. Everyone dubbed over in pain, leaving you standing alone as the campfire began to crackle violently. Alex, Max, Ray, Cody, what's going on? I don't know. I felt a great disturbance in the force. Was that a silent boom? I felt it too. Was it because we messed with the Kai? I don't think so. That didn't feel like it came from the Kai. It felt like it was coming from the city. Everyone, look. He turned to where Cody was pointing. Off in the distance, a billow of smoke rose from the city skyline. With the protective barrier of the GC gone, the crystal itself was in steady decline. The crystal is falling. Alright, team. Wherever you need, prepare to head out. But wait, what's going on? What about the camp? There's no time. Grab your sword and head towards the bridge. I can't believe this is happening. I can't either, but we need to leave. Post haste. I got the last of the records we have. You take care of the fire. Right, Dave, you should grab your equipment from your tent. I'm on it. With only a handful of supplies for the camp, you, Max, Alice, and Cody make your way back down to the hill to the checkpoint as quickly as you can. Your tent's campsite, Alex's equipment, and even the supply cart left behind in the rust. No one said a word, but you could guess that they each had something on their mind as your concerns turned to Elisa at the base of the crystal. A sickening, sinking feeling filled your guts as further destruction echoed across the distance. Working for you from the tree line, you can see the checkpoint at the foot of the hill. The guards were already scrambling around the perimeter, the vibrant red of Way's scales standing out as he stands by the carriage. Right, status. Max barked at the dragon as he vaulted into the driver's seat, taking the reins of the hose. I briefed the guards about the situation, asked them to clean up our Akai camp and be on the lookout. Were they aware of the explosion? Yep, hard to miss it. They've asked us to head down to the guild for further instructions. One of the guards passed close enough to the carriage to be singled out. You there? What's happened to the comms? We have no idea, sir. The communication grid all went silent when we realized the guardian crystal was failing. Damn it all. Everyone, get in. You tried to make your way over to Max only for him to gesture towards the carriage. We can't risk any of you falling off. Get inside. I'll give it everything we got. Come, Dave. It's safer if we stay inside. These carriages are designed for pursuits. There's no time to waste. Get in already. As soon as the door is secure, you heard the shriek of the hose as Max whipped them into a frenzied gallop. Though the road to the forest was placid, the return trip was stressful. Max's hurried whips and the hose's cries mixed with the worried glances of everyone inside the cabin. Despite the relative calm of the countryside zooming by, your head was in turmoil. The carriage jostles and tilts as Max hits every curve sharply or cuts straight off the road. Yikes. Max, remember that the hose only work while on the road. Slow down or you'll have us all killed. The Malibu didn't seem to hear, or just chose not to as he maintained the momentum. What was originally a half-day's trek was cut shorter as the hose were pushed to their limit. Even at the speed you were going, it took you at least an hour or two to return to the city. Your heart was beating in your head the entire time, holding on to Alex as a look of dread dragged their mouths into troubled scowls. When the city finally came into view, you heard a cry from outside, though it zoomed by as quick as the scenery. Max! Toby, stop. Max, stop. Hey, Max, wait, I have orders from Guildmaster Alec. Despite Toby's cries, Max did not stop the carriage, a secure box now, a potential death trap careening into the city. Giving up on his cause, Toby moved into position beside the carriage astride a much sleeker hove, a cavalry unit compared to the strong bat ones hitched to the carriage. He followed close behind, spotted you, and gave you a look of utter shock. You could only shrug at him, having more important things on your mind. When you arrived at the eastern gate, you were greeted with the city in disarray. Signs of vandalism and destruction visibly evident on the buildings around the entrance. Down the straight away path, you can see the veteran park in the distance. Max made a sharp turn down the street as he spotted purple blurs speeding past a few blocks further down. No. It's like they said, the outskirt is already overrun. This is really happening. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Rustic beast in my city. Yeah, I hear you, Max. You should report back to Father at the guild. Probably not the best idea to engage right now. Damn it, Lady Elisa. Turning the carriage back onto the back roads of your group made haste back to the guild. Along the way, you listen to the murmurs of the others as the streets lined up with broken glass, stone, and wood. Whatever passed by here did so without regard for what was here. The outskirts were not their target. As soon as the carriage rolled into the guild, the scale of the damage over the course of hours lay bare before you. Max hopped off the driver's seat to open the door for you before dashing into the crowd. Before you clambered out, following as best you can behind Max, navigating through the cluttered field, where tents, tables, tarps, blankets scattered all about. Field infirmaries tending to the wounded. The bandits appeared to be civilians, judging by the clothes they wore. Everyone else was either adults tending to crying children or just milling about looking for things to do. Some were even crying for children they could not find. The rest were crowded around the entrance of the guild where Master Alaric stood upon a platform so his voice could project outward. People, please, we're doing what we can to reunite you with your loved ones and evacuate you to safety. Do not leave the perimeter of the guild until the next caravan is ready. Master Alaric, Maxwell, I've only just sent for your team. We departed from the Akai as soon as we heard the explosion, sir. So the guardian crystal's fall was heard that far. While the Akai, do you manage to get results? We have, Master Alaric. I brought all the data required to repair the GC. Well done, lad. But I'm afraid it has come to naught. What do you mean? The saboteur has attacked us from within. The laboratory has been ransacked and set ablaze. The towers are under fire? So that's why the guards can't communicate with the guild. Indeed, we could not communicate with the outpost to warn you, nor contact our field agents in this vital moment. What are we to do? To lab my inventions. I apologize for having to ask this of you, but I require you all to help in the evacuation efforts. Maxwell Silverbane is at your command, sir. Maxwell, head out into the city and help with evacuation efforts. Any injured or trapped, make sure they come here safely. We'll tend to them. Yes, sir. Alexander. Yes, sir. I understand this might already be your intent, but you are to head down to the labs and salvage whatever weapons and technology we may require once we are evacuated. Sequential codes fall, the Akai may well be last bastion of this entire continent we can seek refuge at. Even so, we cannot give up our resistance here. Yes, Uncle, and Cody. With a high influx of refugees, we need you to help keep them fed. Yes, an army marches on its stomach. Well said. With that said, you need to hurry. Your remaining assistant is struggling in there on his own. Remaining? One of them gone missing? I believe so. Your tavern reported one personnel missing in action earlier this morning. Did you know who it is? That, I'm afraid, we do not know. Our scouts still haven't spotted him in their reconnaissance. We cannot spare more manpower to investigate missing persons. I understand. I'll head into the kitchen to help with provisions. Good man. Where would they go at a time like this? I just hope it's okay. Indeed. In a way. One moment. Where's Raymond? Look around. You no longer found a dragon anywhere nearby. Why? Why? Where did he go? He was right here. He only left just now. His scent is still strong. Where did he go? What would possess him to leave without dismissal? Maxwell, find Raymond and bring back the refugees with him. What were you going to ask of him? We've been tempted to breach the perimeter of the Crystal Park. So far we haven't been able to penetrate into the inner sanctums where Lady Spring is. I need Raymond to lead our scouting party to find a weak point in their ranks. I'll let him know, sir. Very well. Y'all got your orders. Carry them out. Dismiss. Barely taking a moment to pause, Alaric turned away from you to address another group of mercenaries in need of instructions. You heard the man. We have our orders. Let's move out. Follow me, Dave. We have to collect all that we can find. We have to collect all that we can from the library. Follow me, Dave. We have to collect all that we can from the laboratory. It'll be quite the climb through the stairs to get there. Stairs? What are you talking about? Are the elevators disabled during a fire? No, of course not. They don't rely on the outdated technology of pulleys. We'll soon be able to get to the lab and hopefully find faster to help transport all my data pads and inventions out of here. No more questions. Clock's ticking. Right. You was past the main entrance into the guild, pushing your way through the crowded lobby. Within the guild's proper, only a few civilians could be seen, the room filled with mercenaries bearing the guild's emblem. 3 people are crammed into the front desk, helping the mercs process their orders and their reports. Without the communication network, all orders and directives have to be confirmed and taken physically. You pulled out the portable communicator Alex gave you to try calling Ray, but the line didn't even make the attempt to send out, only producing a subtle white noise. What are you doing? I was trying to see if we could get into contact with Ray. No, that won't work. The communications network in the tower is disabled and the GC field broken. The long distance communication won't work. Long distance? What about short distance? It should still work short distance. The communicators have an effective field of a few meters, but that won't help us now. Come on. We both managed to get to the research tower lounge. The room is filled with boxes and crates filled with crystals, machine parts, and papers. The researchers they belong to resting on the couches and chairs or taking stock of their inventory. Their lab coats were either covered in soot, tattered, singed, or soaking wet. Hell's above. Hey you, chill. A mongoose woman walking past was caught off guard as Alex called for her. In her arms, one of the boxes filled with papers, some showing signs of water damage. Alex, what, are you away from the city still? Not important. Just what in the Marcus name happened here? Double-level regulators malfunction, leading to a chain combustion across the tower's transformer cluster. How? That would never happen on its own. Precisely, which is everybody believes it was a sabotage. Our sensors picked up a sudden spike in maze frequencies. Next thing we know, the labs were on fire. The GC momentarily failed. Again, at any rate, the fires have been neutralized, and on Master Alec's orders, we are to evacuate all researchers and bring what we can salvage. We received the same orders. How goes the evacuation? The upper floors are cleared. The lower floors seem to be in distress. Distress? What kind of distress? Had the floors collapsed? The woman's expression turned dark. Her nose crunched up. It seems the fires themselves were a trap. The fires themselves? Elaborate. When the fires broke out, the automated dowsing system managed to extinguish the worst of it. But it's been hours and the water level hasn't stopped rising. No, it's flooded down there? Alright, it appears the saboteur has disabled the drainage system as well. But why would they do that? I haven't the slightest idea. The mongoose seemed to have a lot to say on the matter, but doesn't have the chance, as her words were cut short with the arrival of the elevator. The researchers were then filed out, 6 in all, carrying a variety of tools and stacks of documents. Some you recognized, some you didn't. Without another word, Alex was the catch the now empty elevator. You politely excused yourself from cell to catch up with him, though several other lab personnel barred your way as they rushed to the elevator, pushing and suffering to get in. Grabbing your sleeve, Alex pulled you into the lift, slamming the emergency button as the doors closed before the others could get a foot in. He felt the lift begin to descend as the sounds and curses of the crowd faded into the distance. But Alex, why did you? The elevators are designed to prioritize the upper floors to the lower ones. One principle of security, only those who have business at the lower floors should be on the lift by the time it gets there. My labs and the research materials for them are on the lowest floor for that reason. If anyone else tried to come in, we'd be stuck on the upper floors until the next cycle. Yeah, but you can't. I can't risk losing those prototypes, Dave. On principle of security, only those who have business at the lowest floors should be on the left by the time it gets there. My labs and the research materials for them are on the lowest floor for that reason. If anyone else tried to come in, we'd be stuck on the upper floors until the next cycle. Yeah, but I can't risk losing those prototypes, Dave. Then why didn't you let them come help you? I have you. That's all I need for this, Alex. He didn't respond, only staring at the floor indicator above above the doors, nervously clenching and unclenching his hands. The descent took a while. B1, B2, B3, B4. All this destruction. To what end? For what good? Alex, that tower and those abominations are all that is sacred. How can you believe this is for the betterment of Arborea? And Alex, calm down. Dave, I don't care if it's a prophecy or not. You need to kill that. Alex divulged to sputters as he gripped the handrail, shaking violently with rage. Just promise me you will. You were taken aback by the request, only able to offer a half-hearted consolation in return. We'll put a stop to this rain, Alex, I promise. You decided not to push the subject, leaving an awkward silence between you two until the elevator slows down as the indicator reaches B24. It stalled at a sudden heaviness. It stalled as a sudden heaviness makes the descent slower, taking longer before it finally reached B25. The doors opened with some strain as water began to pour through the crack, flooding the entirety of the lift in the blink of an eye. When the water stopped pouring in, the water level settled around your waist. You turned to Alex, giving him a firm nod as he began wading out of the elevator to the hallway. Alex followed shortly behind before the elevator door closed behind you. With the doors closed, the elevator groaned as it was summoned back to the surface, carrying with it some of the water until you were left with just the sound of water pouring down from above, the barest trickles seeping through the cracks into the ceiling. Yeah, they weren't lying. At this rate, the entire basement will be flooded in a matter of minutes. Do we have enough time? For what matters, I believe so. It seems like everyone else has vacated the floor already. You listened closely, but it didn't seem like anyone or anything else was splashing around with you. Only the sound trickling somewhere in the distance. That doesn't matter. We're only here for my possessions. Can no one get into your lab in case of emergency? It's my private lab for a reason, Dave. Everything in there is on a need-to-know basis, and no one needs to know what I have in there. You continued wading forward, feeling the water seep the warmth from your skin as you arrived at the familiar door to Alex's lab. It surprised you to see the scanner still functioning as he opened the door the way he usually did. There was a lot you wanted to ask, but Alex's determined pace reminded you that time was of the essence. Cease. It's no less flooded here than outside. What's the most important thing to grab first? Here. He tossed you a hard plastic case, which turned out to be empty. A forensics case? Now's not the time for your otherworld mumblers, Dave. Bring it here and help me pack as much into it as possible. It's to keep everything inside safe. On it. He held the case open for Alex as he threw in whatever he can salvage floating in the water. The lynx frantically reaching beneath the dark surface of the water for anything that he would have to shake loose from a dock or cabinet. Through it all, something made you feel uneasy as you hear splashing. Splashing that did not match Alice's movements through the lab. The splashing turned to muffled banging as you turned to the side panel where Alex's secret lab was. Alex, I think I hear something coming from the back room. The lynx stopped in his tracks, letting the water settle as his ears tuned in to catch what you were hearing. Shit. Did one of the test cell jets break containment? He dropped everything in his arms as he moved over to the secret panel leading to the hidden lab. Crossing the sunken hallway, the splashing began to get louder and a familiar voice came through the glass, muffled and frantic. Hello? Hello? Anybody? Anybody out there? Is that? Festin? Please, someone, let Festin out. Water's too high for Festin to swim. Peering through the door pane, the hidden lab was nearly filled to the ceiling in the same bright blue liquid used to examine you. Whatever controlled the fluid must have broken and begun to flood the entire room. You could see Festin's legs thrashing about in the water as he tried his best to staying close to the ceiling to breathe. Festin, are you okay? Sir Dave, is Master Alex with you? Could Sir Dave ask Master Alex to open the door for Festin? Festin has trouble breathing. Don't worry, hang on. We'll get you out. He pulled on the door, to no avail. It simply wouldn't buzz by force. Alex, unlock the door. We need to get Festin out of here. Alex turned behind him, looking down the wall back to the lab. He only stood there as Festin's cries grew more desperate. Alex! Oh, sorry, I just zoned out. What's happening? What? Festin, we need to save Festin. Alex darted his eyes towards the door, the mouse's short limbs still visibly flailing in the water. Then back to you. Then to where the scanner should be, beneath the water going back and forth between the three of you. Alex, come on. We don't have much time. Hold on. The lynx hesitated for a brief moment as he reached down into his pocket, presumably for the key card or whatever it was he used to unlock the door. He sighed in relief as he pushed towards the door, getting it out of the way. He let him get near as he blindly brushed his hand beneath the surface. His furrowed brow grew deeper as he frantically raised his arm under the water before finally giving the door a weak kick. Damn it, the door jammed. Well, why not? The lab door opened just fine. I don't know. It could be the water pressure preventing the mechanism from opening. The solution might be interfering with the wiring between the console and the crystals. What are we going to do then? If only we could give it some energy. If only we could give it some energy. If only I had mine. Alex turned to you, holding your gaze before looking back down the hall. Maybe one of my gadgets still works despite. Help! Someone, please help! Alex, there's no time for that. Right. Give me a second. We'll just have to destroy the door. What? There's no other way. That room is meant to be absolutely secure. Unless you can channel lightning magic directly into the door's mechanism, there's no way in, short of just blowing it apart. Actually, what if we can? What? How? He reached out to take Alice's hands, much to his confusion. Dave, what are we doing? Now isn't the time to be holding a seance. What? No, that's not what I meant. We should try to resonate again, Alex. What now? Is there a better idea? I think anything would be a better idea, but we don't have much choice. It can't be that hard, right? Even the first time was pretty intense. That's putting it mildly. The second time went by well, though. Maybe the third time's the charm. You can't be certain about that. Sir Dave, Master Alex, please. Alex lets out an exasperated sigh, holding your hands tightly. Fine, you know what to do. I'll hold on to you so you don't fall under the water. Thanks, Alex. You focus your mind on the sound of dripping water in the distance, clearing your mind of the circumstances. This time, you had to make sure to avoid that part of Alex. The fractures of pain like a scar on your soul, you could still feel it there. The surge of energy washed over you again. You welcome it once more, grasping onto it quickly as it even quicker chained you to a prison of agony. Yeah. Let out a hiss as the tapestry of memories overwhelms you again. But something felt different this time. Bombarded in a way of flashes of memories and images of loneliness, you began picking out frames of familiar silhouettes. The painful memories clung to the outside of your skull, not dissimilar to tar, suffocated as fringes of light flickering just out of sight. Gasping at that light, you could feel a suppressed comfort hidden there. Something soft pressed against your forehead, the echoes of a voice soothing the erratic energy manifesting within you. You tried touching it, but it withdrew just as quickly, together with the warmth where it once was. Somehow you yearned for that same warmth upon your forehead once again. It made you feel safe, comforted. Everything was going to be alright. Everything would be alright. Everything would be alright. Dave? He gripped his hands with renewed energy. We got this, Alex. Tell me what to do next. Denise was baffled by your behavior as he pulled his hands free to indicate to you where to start. Alright, focus your energy here on the door. Okay, how much does it need? Just keep going until you hear it move. He did as instructed, applying the magic field towards the door, which seemed to absorb every bit of it. Just about the length of this movement, you seemed to be powering different compartments of the door, which remained dormant for a while, at least until an audible hiss came from within the hull as you let the energy course from one side to the other. With one final burst of energy, the door groaned, pulling back along its tracks as fluids began to flow out into the hallway. Vincent had stopped struggling as the ceiling retreated from his snout. Alice walked forward to catch the mouse while he focused on keeping the door powered further. The initial slow stream of water became stronger in mere moments, dragging with it sucking supplies from inside the hidden lab. Hooking his arms around under Feston, Alex managed to keep the mouse above the water until you released the energy from the door. Give me a hand here, would you, Dave? You moved in to take Feston from him as your foot stepped on something decidedly not synthetic. Something soft and squishy that almost made you yelp as you stepped off it. You kicked around the water for it, only to find it no longer there. Dave, what's wrong? I stepped on something soft. Did you see it? Was it a fist? A fist? Here? Seriously? Alex's expression turned pale as a wave of realization washed over him. Alex? No time. We need to go. Help me carry Feston out of here. Why, what's wrong? I think I understood our saboteur's intentions. I grabbed the things we've already packed. Take Feston to the elevator now. Got it. You brought Feston along out of the hallway, making your way back outside the lab doors. Not far behind, Alex brought the two cases he managed to fill atop a whiteboard. Navigating back to the elevator, Alex called for it again as you both waited in silence. I hope the added water doesn't break it. Malfunction from the sheer added weight is not out of the question. That said, if it managed to hold up with the water from before, it should function just fine now. Right. How's Feston? Sounds like he's sleeping. The relief of being saved must have made him pass out. Dave, I thank you for saving him. If it had been if it had been up to me, I probably would have. Hey, you reached out to the lynx with a hand over his shoulder. It's not what you would have done that matters, it's what you have done, right? You told me that I could decide for myself if I became a hero, and maybe I'm not the hero of the prophecy, but what we just managed back there, that felt pretty damn heroic of me. Plus, if it had been just me, I'd probably just been I'd probably be just as stuck without you. So don't beat yourself up over it, dumbass. You both felt waves in the water as the lift descended into it. The current practically dragged the three of you in the moment the door opened. And the case is securely on board and your third passenger in hand, Alex pressed the emergency close button. Once again the doors closed and the lift struggles to rise as the water gradually drained out through the seams. You sit fastened down on the damp elevator door as you let yourself slide down to sit as well. That took a lot more out of you than we expected. Yeah, I didn't think things would have been this bad. Peace tends to breed complacency. We were ill-equipped to deal with all this. The lynx himself leaned against it, the wall of the elevator sliding down into a sitting position with you. I think this is where we should part ways, Dave. Your ears perked up. Do you hear him right? Part ways. What's wrong? Do we need to stay here and help with the evacuation efforts? No, Dave. The thing with the door. If something were to happen out there, my gases run out, I'll just be dead weight again. It's probably best if I stay and help with the evacuation of the city while you and Ryan continue helping on the front lines. You're joking. Are you serious? Alex winced as you raised your voice at him, averted his gaze towards the unconscious Fest. You're as much an important member of the team as I am, Alex. Yes, I am capable, so long as I have my machines to do the work for me. Without them, I'm useless. And without you, I wouldn't have been able to do any of this. If it makes you feel better, I could be your machine. But what? Yes, I mean it. Please, you can make use of me however you like. Alex seemed stunned at your proposition, staring you dead in the face. You stared back at him, adamant and getting your point across. Though it wasn't long before he cracked, breaking into incredulous guffaws. I can't take you seriously at all with that stupid look on your face. Just like that, your facade was rendered broken. Now it was your turn to look at Feston to avoid Alex's taunting gaze. For what it's worth, thanks, Dave. I needed that. You weren't quite sure what to say, only nodded back with a smile. Not long after the elevator safely arrived at the lounge as several researchers awaited outside, most of them quite shocked to see the three of you sitting inside, exhausted. Some of them immediately helped bringing you and the cases out. The medical crew on board tended to Feston right away. You heard mutterings about needing to remove the water in his lungs. That left just you and Alex standing alone out front as the rest of the researchers crammed into the lifts as it rose to the upper floors again. Feston, he'll be alright. Might take some time to recover, but he'll bounce back. I hope so, too. Well, there's that. What now? You should head back for now. Wash up and get and change our clothes. Now, is that really okay? Shouldn't I report in right away? And what? Catch a cold while we're out there again? Come on, Dave. You should know better than that. Well, when you put it like that, I guess it makes sense. Actually, shouldn't you do the same? I should, but first there's a few things I need to discuss with some of the senior members about what happened in the basement. So head back first. I'll go in bed. We'll regroup out from well, we'll group out front where Master Alec is. Alright, stay safe, Alex. You too, you crazy mutt. Sure. It took you a bit to return to the dorm room. It wasn't like you didn't know the way, but rather something about this sudden lowering atmosphere was bothering you. With a sigh, you still decided to step into the shower. Might as well clean up and get a change of clothes. It still didn't sit right with you that while there was a literal siege going on outside, you were still back in your room like this. Though after wading through the flooded underground lab, you shouldn't have catch a cold if you didn't shower. Better safe than sorry, lest you ruined the whole operation for this one misstep. After all, you knew that all this was far from over. Having made up your mind, you quickly dressed up, grabbed your equipment before heading off to the main hall. The atmosphere there was still tense, and yet somehow a lot calmer than the previous chaotic sight. Many guild personnel had returned from the field. Some sat around eating from trays of food given out by the tavern, while the rest still diligently going about with their task of tending to the refugees. There among the now orderly lines of mercenaries, you spotted the others on the far side near the entrance. Hey guys. Dave. Hey. Ah, Dave, there you are. Did I miss anything? No, we only just met up a moment ago. Right. So, is everyone alright? Huh? Oh, they're fine. It's just the exhaustion kicking in. Right. How's Feston doing? He's stable, still resting at the infirmary as we speak. I had thought of staying there, but Ciel happened to show up again and agreed to stay there and keep him company in my stead. Quite a sight for sore eyes, I say. Oh, did you not expect help? Do you not expect her to help? I suppose not, with all the research tower in disarray. Sorry about what happened to your lab, Alex. To think a lot of your works down there is now lost to the sabotage. This is like losing all the recipes that you worked so hard to perfect. How horrible. It's a shame that the saboteur had to resort to this vile form of disruption. However, not all is lost. As I mentioned, Dave and I had recovered what we could along with Feston. And after much discussions with my colleagues, they did volunteer to send a team of aquatic divers down to retrieve what's left in the waters. Oh, someone like Finn, maybe. It is likely that he might be among the crew. Well, it's good that you both are okay. Don't forget that your safety is still paramount, guys. Understood. Alright, almost forgot. Where did you run off to earlier, right? About that. Apparently Rai was looking for his brother, Tristan. So when I got to him, we went looking for him together. Wait, Rai has a brother? My younger sibling, yep. See, here's the thing. Tristan joined the guild not long ago, maybe a bit before you came around, Dave. He's very eager to prove himself, no matter how dangerous the task is. Who knows what sort of trouble he have gotten himself into without me around. But, guess I was worried for nothing. We will return to the guild. Tristan was there safe and sound. He even got commended for his first assignment done. Man was visibly over the moon. Takes you back to my first year. Sure does. Say, what about you, Cody? I heard the kitchen was crowded to all hell and back. That's an understatement. Not even our business lunch was had that many people pouring into the place. Luckily, the owners of other restaurants and diners across the city came by to help. Even though we run our places very differently, I couldn't thank them enough for lending a hand at this time of need. No kidding, sounds like your assistants would really appreciate the help too. They definitely would. Especially Tensai, who had their man the place the entire time when asked went missing. Went missing? Yep, That's what Tin said, anyway. At some point, when they were running low on supplies, asked where to get the pantries restocked, only to never return since. That's very strange. Why didn't you guys send someone to look for him? Dave, don't forget that given the state of affairs, we cannot search for every missing person or demand. I see, so what now? We managed to contain the threat around the guild for now, just so the Nether army cannot advance any further towards us. But the rest of the city, that's an entire different beast to handle. I see, so what's the plan? As you can see, Sir Alaric is mobilizing everyone for a counterpush. As part of the few strike teams taking part, we need to move fast and hit hard in order to regain ground. Do not stop until we reach Richmond Park. Is everyone ready? Ready. Let's go, move out. There's a warehouse district in front of us. We can either cut through this and the residential district, pretty much a straight path to the park. Our scouts report increased nether activity in that sector. It will be a risky move. Or perhaps we could take the other fork. The eastern crossroads seem far enough away from contested areas. Correct, that's our main route for sending reinforcements to help with the evacuation. Then we could loop around to the market district. Arvin told me the other teams have cleared the way first. That doesn't guarantee really that the path will be completely safe, but at least that means the nether concentration will be less intense there. It'll take longer for us to reach the park too. Yeah, ample time for the baddies to reoccupy the area. Regardless, we cannot risk it by splitting up right now. We just need to pick a path and stick to it. What do you think, Dave? Let's take the right path. Better safe than sorry. Alright, let's move out. Team. Not long after, you happen by a rather tattered set of tents, possibly set up momentarily in the wake of the siege. Much to your surprise, however, most of the wounded inside were fighters, whereas the people tending to them, or at least trying to, were all civilians. Everything seemed disorganized as can be, people buzzing about, bumping into each other, the wounded moaning and groaning from pain, women and children huddling in the corners. What a mess. Almost instinctively, the bear headed right into one of the tents, prompting you to follow close behind. Sorry, who's in charge here? I am. The middle-aged bovine stepped forth. After gesturing the others to focus on their task, he seemed to be another seasoned fighter, similar to Cody's Asian friend. Look, if you got more wounded, I'm afraid we have no beds nor supplies to spare. What's the situation here? It's stretched thin as it is, lads. Never have I ever expected an invasion this fast and brutal. No one did, sir. Listen, I can send any man you can back to the guild. Ask for supplies for the hunting circle. Tavern. If you run into my staffs, just tell them Cody sent you. I see. Though me and a few others here are the only able-bodied left, I'm afraid. Then you just go, sir. I can take over here for you instead. The bovine seemed to hesitate at the bear's insistence, though. After exchanging a few nods among his men, he seemed to have made up his mind. Very well, lad. We owe you a lot. We owe you a lot, a big one. So what now? I'm staying back to help this shelter. That much is clear, no? You go on ahead. I'll catch up as soon as they return from the guild. He exchanged a glance with the others, who didn't seem to object Cody's decision. Even Max seemed pleased that at least the bear was now contributing to the relief effort. He decided to go past the temporary shelter and move along. With the last guard down, the lesser nether beasts began to swarm into the back streets of the city. The contingent of mercenaries breaking up the rear scattered messily in pursuit of them, breaking formation entirely much to Max's irritation. You there, what are you standing around for? Set up a roadblock here. Defensive position. Go, go, go. Yes, sir. The guard seemed to recognize who you were right away, or at least Max himself, as they quickly rallied to his side. Having reconsolidated the current forces, you hunkered down at the intersection and managed to fend off another wave of nether creatures. After clearing out the area, several more mercenaries gathered by, but with how chaotic things were, Max had to step in to coordinate their fighters. You guys go on without me. I got our flanks covered. Got it. You and the rest of the team carry on as Matt stayed behind to set up a perimeter, hopefully preventing further advancement from the Nether army. That's different here. The big one first. After having cleared out the nether creatures from this area, Alex made note of how many people were still stranded and in need of medical attention. Without warning, Ray gave you a tap on the shoulder as he dashed away from the team. But what? Ray, where are you going? Back. Get spotted for rescue teams. Going with. The dragon's pace was too fast for his voice was lost amidst the chaos, but you could assume that he was backtracking towards the guild. With the side you and the others moved along. You hesitated a moment, feeling unsafe, breaking off from Alex as you crossed the final stretch into Vitrum Park. There was an eerie calmness when you crossed the threshold to the outer wing. There was not a single person or nether beast in sight, and none that you could hear either. The once pristine and manicured park was left in shambles, grass scratched up by hooves and shrubs trampled or otherwise uprooted. You drew your sword warily, scanning your surroundings, following along the pavement further in. In the silence, you could hear the familiar gentle hum of the guardian crystal, somehow warped into a dissonant vibration. It made you feel some kind of sick to your core, as if your stomach could turn inside out. Looking up, the once protective crystal began to feel overbearing, as though about to crush you the moment you approached the inner sanctum. Elisa, everyone's safe. We need to get out of here. You holler as loud as your burning lungs allow, hoping to get the rabbit sage to come out sooner. Elisa, we need to get out of here. Alex and the others will cover our escape. Still no response from Elisa. Not from the eating guards, only the violent and angry shriek of the guardian crystal. Elisa, a series of sharp jabs ran up your legs, pinning your muscles in place like a mannequin. Your momentum threw you into a forward roll, hitting the ground hard enough to lose the grip on your sword. Fuck. God, what the hell? My legs. Reaching down for your legs, your hands instantly recoil at the sharp, jagged spikes protruding from your knees and calves. A brief glance told you they were clouded stars of opaque purple reminiscent of obsidian deliberately thrust through your legs. Elisa! You cried out, now kicking yourself for needing to be saved by the one you came to save yourself, though you did hear the voice of someone familiar coming towards you from the sanctum. Dave, is that you? Are you alright? Who's there? Over here, Sir Dave. Good heavens, what happened here? What did they do to you? Yeah, Ashford? What are you doing here? It's not safe. Yes, I'm aware. I too was caught in this sudden strife. I had managed to find sanctuary within the sanctum along with the guards and Lady Spring herself. You managed to get here when the invasion happened? How is Lady Spring? Is she safe? I should say so. She has managed to fend off those beasts while maintaining the crystal afloat. I dare say I won't be forgetting what she's capable of. But enough about that. Come, Dave. We must get you inside before those creatures find us out in the open. The snow leopard leaned down, extending his hand out for you to take. Where are the guards, Ashford? It would be easier if they were here to help us. They are still recovering from the initial assault, Dave. Let us not raise any undue alarm. Surely we could escort ourselves to safety, right? Or do you not believe me capable of carrying you myself? He chuckled mirthfully as he once again proffers his hand to you. Pressing back on your elbows, you decide to draw away from the snow leopard. Hold up. Albert told us that Elisa sent the guards away to get the townspeople to safety. Why didn't you go with them? I insisted on staying here to assist Lady Spring with defending the inner sanctum. I'm sure you understand my concerns for her ladyship. She is the final beacon of hope for her people. Your fear for her well-being must be clouding your judgment. Please allow me to escort you to her. Ashford took 2 steps closer to you, once again thrusting his hands toward you, just a lot more forcefully this time around. You continued scooting back from Ashford bit by bit as he continued to follow you step by step. Nobody knew where you were, Ass. You were MIA as far as anyone could tell. I suppose the guards simply omitted mentioning my staying here. I am an unremarkable individual after all, merely a background character in your story. You finally reached what you had been itching for. The hilt of your sword clattered as your fingers bumped into it. Grasping it firmly, you brought it forward, holding it towards Ashford's chest to keep him at arm's length. You're the spy, aren't you, Ash? Did you come to that conclusion all by yourself, hero? Or perchance did those friends of yours tell you that? His tone grew both cynical and ecstatic as he leaned down to meet you at eye level. I was so looking forward to doing away with you and your pathetic conjure. Especially that oafus bear, the things I had to put up with under his supervision. Ugh, what a waste of my talents. Ashford clenched his fist. You can hear him grit his teeth with a painfully forced smile. This will do nicely. Saves me the time of picking your friends off one by one. You've even done me the favor of stumbling into my netherite traps. You, Ashford held a hand to his head, shaking it with a derisive smile upon his face. You are far too kind, hero. Though I must say, you left me rather disappointed. His Majesty had a great and many expectations of you, and yet you were nothing more than another tribute. A dying breed heals. What a pity. He looked you up and down, eyes lingering upon the sword in your hand. With that said, I must admit I am intrigued. When you crossed that threshold into that establishment, I had not expected you to be the hero of prophecy. Imagine my surprise to learn His Majesty had lost sleep over something so pitiful as you. Still, I did not expect you to survive this long, let alone be a thorn in my side as much as you have been. All the more reason I'll have to stop you here, I'm afraid. You held your sword closely, drawing from your borrowed powers in your offhand. Who exactly are you, really? Since you asked so politely. Before your eyes, Ashford's appearance shifted, his uniform melting away into an officer's regalia. I am General Ashford Demgarden, Galantine by birthright, and King Leonhard's most trusted advisor. I didn't need to know that much. Well, you dare ask. His demeanor softened into an amicable smile. Why are you even doing this? Can't you see all the harm you've been causing? What you call harm is nothing more than a necessity, dear Dave. We do this for the well-being of Galant, the well-being of all of Arborea. Yeah, right, that's the biggest lie of the century right there. Is that so? You don't believe yourself to be the only one on the side of righteousness, do you? How self-serving to think that yours is the only correct way of living. Isn't that the pot calling the kettle black? Do not mistake me for yourself, hero. You exist only to uphold the current standard. I am a revolutionary who has challenged this farce of existence, and the results speak for themselves. Your pathetic empire have crumbled under the king's reach. His Majesty's superior rule is what will sustain the future of this land. Your Majesty's rule has led to nothing but deaths and losses among the people. Look at all the amount of agony and despair you've sown throughout the country. And is that not their deserved punishment? What? You think they deserve this? These Polarian parasites are what caused this uprising. They have only themselves to blame. For nearly a century, We endured ridicule and strife. In their eyes, Galat was but a land of slaves and tools to be taken advantage of. His Majesty's rise to power challenged that. His upheaval of the Baumgarten house saved us from the brink of extinction and gave us a chance to live again. For that feat alone, he is a true hero of a warrior. Do you get it now, hero? This is why this war is a necessity, to save our future generations from falling back into decay and decadence. To put an end to an era of shackles and break the cycle of segregation. And you think you can accomplish this by razing every city you come across to the ground? You have ruined so many lives for the sake of your own entitlement. You have taken more than you were owed and still think yourselves the victims. Do not lecture me on matters of morality, boy. You have not endured true hardship and famine for the better half of your life. What good is morality for craven crystal sucklers who think themselves better than the weak? We at last stand on equal footing, and yet you dare call us corrupt? Who wouldn't? Do you even hear yourself talk? You sound like a crazy politician. All these lies and half-truths about how rough you've had it. Do you think these people were living in a lap of luxury for the past 20 years? What do you know about these disgraceful traitors? You've barely been here for a month. Maybe I don't. But I have seen and heard stories about the misery these people have to endure. You, your king, destroyed their homes, forcing them to migrate here. And even with the garden crystal, their livelihood is still at stake. These people just want to live peacefully. You still see them as a threat. What is wrong with you? Your misplaced sympathy is simply baffling. Their misery was of their own making. How ignorant of you to assume we'd never offer them a helping hand. We are more than willing to look past their transgressions and start things anew. They need only submit to His Majesty's rightful rule. And then would they have known utopia. Alas, they never yielded. Pray tell then, how are we to blame when they have forsook that choice? The snow leopard fainted at you with a kick which you very narrowly deflected. I have entertained your ignorant bleating for far too long, sheep. Whatever leniency I have offered you have been an error. You will submit to His Excellency's will. Yeah, not the kind of diplomacy I prefer, but it seems like that's the only persuasion you will listen to. I won't let you get away for the crimes you committed here this day, Ashford. Ordina Prosperita. You brandished your sword again, pointing the blade towards a snow leopard who seemed indignant as ever. Phew! If you plan to protect this dying city to your last breath, so be it. And Enveric Kringsman never did do for listen. He draws forth 5 ice daggers between his fingers as a delighted smile spreads over his face. Emma Straven for a second et egal den Parisi. They couldn't go on. Your injuries were too much for you to bear as you were brought to your knees. Ashford wasted no time pinning you down with his daggers of ice leaving you prone and defenseless. And defenseless. Pity, it appears that in the end you will come to serve the purpose you were always destined to. Asper effortlessly took the sword from your sore hands. My, what a true masterpiece of crystal manufacturing, a fragment of the maker's pearl. And now it's in my possession. Asper braced the blade to his body, quivering in elation like a child that had found his presence early. Drawing from his pocket, he produced a pocket watch, the one you had always seen dangling from his vest. Bringing it towards the crest, where the sword's falsy gem was inlaid, you began to feel a hellish squeezing in your ears. Do not fear, my little vessel. You shall find that the influences of nether are far more pleasing once you detach yourself from its foolish notes and harmonies. The more Asper held the watch to the sword, the more your mind screamed in protest. You watched as the world as you knew it gradually vanishes from your mind. The guardian crystals Akai, crystal codes of Gil, Elisa, Carl, the human world, Oboya. All of it was placed with thoughts that were not your own. The cognitive dissonance drove you mad as you could not reconcile the images forced into your mind. The atrocities committed by the nether beast, by Asper, by the king. All acts of violence and righteousness cleansing. All of it viscerally amazing. You find yourself feeling all is right with the world. No longer feeling ambitions of lofty heroics or bearing ill will towards Galant. Asper hands you your sword back as you apologize to him, offering your eternal servitude to the future Emperor of Oboya. You choose to prove your fealty by executing the remaining obstacle that stood between him and ascension. Welcome home, hero. And now, to finish what we started. Well, you got to see what happens when you lose to Galant. So you end up getting corrupted, and your mind gets negative thoughts and hostile thoughts. The mindset that Galant has infiltrates your mind, and those heroic memories and personality that you had ends up being replaced by that vicious, evil personality that Galant in the king or emperor that he serves has. So you end up becoming one of them. I'll go ahead and try again. Yeah, how can you be this strong already? This was not how this was supposed to happen. Give up, ass. The others will be here any minute. Fool, I will not be caught like some common rodent. No, I will do what I have to. I will do what I have set out to do. Hey, get back here. I'm not done with you. Yeah. He chased behind them through the fog as it begins to clear. His focus disrupted. His figure was barely visible, even in the all-black attire. The thickness of the fog made us obscure his outline. Much to your fear, he disappeared for a moment before you managed to catch sight of him again. Your footsteps echoed throughout the sanctum as the fog clears enough for you to see the ceiling. Somewhere within the fog, you could hear Elisa's voice humming in the same tune as the guardian crystal did before. You push her out of your mind as you return your focus to catching up with Asford. At last it was he. At last there he was, cornered with his back to the window, shining light through the fog. The snow leopard turned around calmly to face you. Though he attempted to maintain his composure, his chest was obviously heaving from the pursuit. Stubborn as a boar's, aren't you? You heroes never know when to give up. I watch what I'm saying in your possession. Turn yourself over to the volunteers and get cut down where you stand. You're just bluffing. If you couldn't kill me when you had the chance, I seldom believe you'd do it now. You kept your sword poised towards the snow leopard, the narrow room, leaving little space to escape without getting struck in an attempt. Riddle me this. What can you accomplish by not killing me now? Fame, glory, accolades, titles. Isn't that what all you heroes desire? Honestly, none of that crossed my mind. I don't want to kill you if I could help it, else. If he had been truthful about his position as the king's advisor, he was worth more to you alive than dead. You're more use to us alive. Well now, look who's stealing my lines. I have an actual use for you. Your lot will not get a single shred of information out of me. I better be off dead. You felt a frigid gust blow by your cheek as the first wound was opened by Astrid's ice daggers. Yeah, fine. You leave me no choice. You broke into a sprint towards Astrid, arm held back to slash the traitor across the center of his mass. The snow leopard only braced himself, taunting you with deranged glee. It's an end of the line, Astrid. The sword never tasted flesh as you slammed your shoulder into Astrid. Having fainted with a false strike, you dropped your blade to put the full force of your body on him. You troll-brained fool. How can you do this to me? Goodness, Dave. Your bodies made contact as you both fell hard onto the floor. A clattering is heard along with the soft flopping onto the concrete. Elisa's voice shook you immediately as you drew yourself off her in embarrassment. Elisa? What are you doing here? That should be my question to you, dear. What on Arborea are you doing in the sanctum? In the city for that matter. Wait. No, none of that matters right now. Are you alright? I didn't hurt you, did I? And Ashford, did he try to hurt you? Easy there, Dave. It's alright. She sat up, reaching out to pull you into an embrace. At that moment, you heard footsteps running out of the room. I'm fine, Dave. I'm just glad to see you safe. And this Ashford, is that the Cody's assistant? Why would he be here? Wait, you didn't hear everything that happened just now? I'm afraid not. Keeping the crystal aloft is a taxing ordeal on its own. The crystal, as the rabbit sage gasped, a large metallic twang rang out above the sanctum as the guardian crystal's chaotic vibrations began to go haywire. The ground began to rumble as the crystal approaches the ground, fully unbidden. Dave, stay close. Elisa held you tight to her chest as she vocalized an incantation. You didn't get to take in her silvery voice as chunks of the crystal crashed against the sanctum's roof. You screamed out of instinct as you felt the weight of the world crumbling down on you. To be continued. Wow, that was a action-packed update. That was the most fighting I've done so far in this in this VN here. The most monsters, and that part with Ashford. I confuse his name for Gilot, but his name is Ashford. I forgot his name earlier, but that part with the monsters and Ashford appear again and all that. That was the roughest part that I had to do, and all the parts where you fight the monsters, and that was very difficult. But anyway, this update here, this day 13, is certainly the most chaotic day so far. I mean, all the other days for the most part were either peaceful or, for the most part, were very peaceful days. And I think that one day when the slug monster attacked everybody right after that festival, that sports festival, when I did cause chaos, Dave and everybody were able to defeat the slug. But this is the most violent and the most chaotic day so far, because there's so many monsters all over town, and you had to fight one group of slugs and another group of slugs and another group, and then this battle with Ashford, who was a spy all along. But I knew there was something suspicious about Ashford, like when he apparently urged them to hurry up and go out on the trip to psychiatry. I mean, I wonder, like, what business was that for him to rush them like that? Cody's missing to the psychiatry was not his business, but he acted like it was his business that they hurry up. So it looks like Cody will have to find a new employee. I mean, he sold his true colors by calling Cody an oaf of a bear. An oafus bear. So, yeah. I'm looking forward to day 14. I'm looking forward to Cody's day 13 as to how he will react. Well, that might not be until Cody's day 14 when that happens, because I think in Cody's day 13, it will end just like the way this day 13 for Alex ended. So anyway, Alex believed that without his technology, all his inventions, he was worthless. And with it being lost in the water, he thought that he held no purpose to the team, and that was the reason why he told Dave to go on without him, because he just felt that he was a failure in that, because he doesn't have powers like all of them do, like Matt's, Cody, and Ray and Dave have. I mean, so he doesn't have powers, but his intelligence, his creative mind is what. I mean, he's very much a valuable person to Sir Alaric and everybody, because his mind, he makes inventions that can make life easier for the city. So I mean, got some superheroes. I mean, if I want to compare Alex to superheroes, I could say that about Batman. I mean, he didn't have superpowers like Superman and the other superheroes did, but he had gadgets. He made his own gadgets. He was an inventor, and he didn't have powers, but he was able to fight just as well as the ones with powers. because all the gadgets and the vehicles that he made. So powers on everything. I mean, it's good to have powers, but a creative mind and a very intelligent person, a very creative and talented person, can also go very far in helping the city and the world. So, like I said earlier, this was a jam-packed, an action-packed update, day 13. I wonder what's going to happen in day 14. You know, with all the carnage and the damage to the city and the flooding and all that. So, thank you all very much for watching. Bye.